President Trump has been clear about from the beginning, and the War Department is clear about, is Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran was put in a position where they had to come to the table and undertake this. And
you really have a win-win situation for the United States of America.
After days of intense diplomacy, the United States and Iran have agreed to a framework designed to stop the fighting and create a path forward to a broader agreement.
U.S. official described having secured some of these quote-unquote gentlemen's agreements with Iran on certain aspects of the negotiation. So when it comes to highly enriched uranium, can you walk us through what's been secured, even in these kind of gentlemen's agreements, on how exactly they're going to get rid of the stockpile? Are there agreements on low-grade enrichment? How long is the moratorium on enriching uranium for Iran? And are any of these gentlemen's agreements written down anywhere?
Such a great question. A gentleman's agreement. Let's just ask ourselves a few questions here in regards to what this actually means. A gentleman's agreement is a word agreement. It's when you give your word, and we call it a gentleman. It's a phrase. It's your word as a man that you will fulfill the obligations that is being discussed. So that's a gentleman's agreement. Now, I'm not indicating that some feminist situation is preventing this woman to understand it. I think she's questioning it because she wants to get specific details. And then she's asking the ridiculous question of, is there anything written down? See, that's what the disguise of a gentleman's agreement is. There isn't anything typically written down. It's me saying, I'm going to do this or you're going to do that, and that's how it's going to be. So let's let J.D. Vance get in and let him the situation a little bit. But this woman's ridiculous question about a gentleman's agreement and is it written down? Is any of this written down? And every gentleman's agreement is prescribed on the individual situation that it's involved in. There's no code other than you said you're going to do something and you do it. And that's the code.
So some of them are written down, but fundamentally, whether they're written down or spoken, this is why we structured the deal that we did, because we don't trust words. We trust action, and we trust conduct. And so we're going to reward conduct, and we're not going to reward any words, whether they're written on a sheet of paper or not. There's a lot of discussion, the MOU, the gentleman's agreements, the final deal. Words don't matter, ladies and gentlemen. We're about verification. And so what we're going to do is to say, if they do the things that they have promised to do, they have promised not to enrich. They have promised that they would allow inspectors in to destroy that highly enriched stockpile, and then of course it's not usable anymore, you take it somewhere else. They promised a number of things, and that's why the deal contemplates a number of benefits if they do those things.
So are we clear on a gentleman's agreement? You say you're going to do something, and we hold you to it. We say we're going to do something, and then you hold us to it. That's a gentleman's agreement. So this is what we told Iran. We're going to bomb your assets. We're going to hit all of your key major points. We're going to knock out your military, your air assets, your ocean assets, and then we're going to bring you to the negotiating table because for 47 years, you've been telling America how much you want to kill us, how evil we are, we're the devils, all these kinds of things, or we're the devil. And it sounds like another group of people in America talking about Whitey being the devil and all this kind of thing. Bottom line is, these anti-American slogans and these anti-American chants that Iran's had over the years, I haven't forgot about this kind of stuff. So I'm with the president, I'm with the vice president, I'm with the Secretary of State, and all of the important people making decisions right now in Washington, D.C. I say trust but verify. So we're going to go in, we're going to get the dust out, we're going to clear everything out that we think is a threat, and then we're going to start negotiating, we're going to start releasing in terms of money, assets. What's going to be interesting that I'm not too sure if I understand completely is this toll charge that they're going to be able to start charging after 60 days. For some reason, I think we're going to renege on that. And I hope that's the situation. Pull the carpet out from underneath them just as soon as they start screwing around. And I figure in 60 days, these dummies, these fools, but these people are the worst. So we're not going to trust them. We're going to hold them to an account, call it a gentleman's agreement, but we're going to work out the details. You can bank on that.
Win-win situation for the United States of America.
After days of intense diplomacy, the United States and Iran have agreed to a framework designed to stop the fighting and create a path forward to a broader agreement.
They have a new group of leaders that I think is actually, I think they're smarter. I think they're very smart.
President Trump announced the deal Thursday morning, calling it a major step towards stability in the region. The agreement includes an immediate ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran, the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz to commercial shipping, and limited sanctions relief. Iran also reaffirmed it will not pursue nuclear weapons and agreed to freeze further advances in its nuclear program while negotiations continue.
Iran was put in a position where they had to come to the table and undertake this. And what President Trump has been clear about from the beginning, and the War Department is clear about, is Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Full stop, cannot have a nuclear weapon.
But many of the most contentious issues remain unresolved. There is no final agreement on Iran's nuclear program, no detailed inspection or verification system to ensure compliance, and no restrictions on Iran's ballistic missile program.
They would have to get a lot of money in order to rebuild their nuclear program, and we have them in an economic chokehold right now that we're not going to release until they fundamentally change their behavior.
The agreement also leaves unanswered questions about Iran's relationships with regional proxy groups throughout the Middle East. For now, the deal appears to be less of a permanent peace agreement and more of a pause in the conflict, designed to reduce tensions while negotiations attempt to tackle the harder issues still dividing both sides.
We're going to get to a good place. We're already at a good place. It's just a question of whether we can really get the icing on the top of fundamentally transforming Iran's relationship with the world.
The memorandum also creates a 60-day window for both sides to try to reach a more comprehensive agreement. President Trump added the 60 days is not a strict timeline. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.